Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a while since we've had a afternoon show. I gotta step up my game, if you know what I mean. Hello, Walking Dead. Hello, Peas. Court K. Brooks, I don't appreciate the spoiler alert. I'm sorry, Court K, I had to do it. CMRD, how are you? I missed somebody that I haven't seen in a while. Hang on. Barb Murray, one of our original members. She's in the top 10. Just Me is in here. Hello, Cool Gamer. AV made it in. Laced in Chains, where have you been? Hey, Pointer Lover. Crime Curious is in. She's going to come up. True Crime Beat wants to come up. Walking Dead said, Brooks, I missed you a ton. I missed you too. Hello, Cherie. Let me tell you what. This with Harmony Montgomery cannot get any worse. Now, I want to say this right now. I know that everyone has got their own history, their own past. Some people have had to go through the CPS system and do what they needed to do to get their children back. This show is not a reflection on you. I never want anybody walking away from a show feeling bad about their own lives, because I know some of you have told me your recovery stories, and I applaud you. I applaud you for doing the right thing. This is just my opinion, and please tell me if you think I'm off track. My opinion is Crystal Sorey did not do the right thing for Harmony. She got on with her own life and was the first to fail her. As we know, Harmony Montgomery was murdered by her father. Murdered by her father. Second-degree murder for recklessly causing the death of Harmony, a person under 13 years of age, under circumstances manifesting an extreme indifference to the value of human life, by repeatedly striking Harmony in the head with a closed fist in Manchester on or about December 7th, 2019. Falsifying physical evidence for purposely altering, destroying, concealing, or removing the body of Harmony Montgomery. And we know what that's all about now, because we've read the probable cause affidavit, where not only was little Harmony dismembered, but she was moved all over Manchester for months. Abuse of a corpse for purposely and unlawfully removing, concealing, or destroying the corpse of Harmony. And of course, tampering with witnesses or informants for purposely attempting to induce or otherwise cause Kayla Montgomery to testify or inform falsely. The whole situation is ridiculous. Scratch a lie, find a thief. And Crystal has been caught in lie after lie after lie. She wants to be the hero in this situation, but it's not going to happen. One of the first pages of the probable cause affidavit, when they talked about November 18th, when they got the call from Crystal, you're already seeing a discrepancy in stories from her when all she's supposedly concerned about is finding Harmony. We know the governor's report knocked out a lot of what she said to News Nation and on her own Facebook. Now, according to her, she had to be in court so Jameson could be adopted. So she had to miss court for Teardrop to get Harmony. Do you think that Jameson's adopted fathers would have held it against her if she had another court hearing? Do you think that Jameson wouldn't have been adopted by his adoptive fathers? Not at all. She made that up. She didn't care what happened to Harmony, you see. She said she had to pick which one to go to, so she wanted to make sure that Jameson had a good home. Well, you knew he was going to get a good home. You didn't care about Harmony. We go to what happened to Harmony. Kayla said Adam was driving the vehicle and Harmony was in the rear seat on the passenger side. And while Adam was driving, he turned his body and delivered sets of 3 to 4 blows with a closed fist to Harmony's face on 3 separate occasions over the course of a few minutes. Kayla said after the final blow, Adam said, "I think I really hurt her this time. I did something." I want the words "this time" to sink in. To sink in. We're going to listen to everything that Crystal said to Court TV. And a lot of it I agree with. I really do. But she's got to tell the truth. You cannot move forward in life and make amends until you tell the truth. Her saying that she couldn't be there for Harmony because she had to make sure Jameson got adopted. Let me tell you what, I guarantee Jameson's adoptive fathers are sitting there going, "You think we wouldn't have rescheduled? You think we wouldn't have waited an hour? What are you talking about? You think we would have just left him on the curb? What are you thinking?" Of course, they would have cooperated. So when people sing recovery, 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 well, it's a process. And she's not in that process because for whatever reason, she just won't tell the truth. And guess what? We don't need to hear all the dirty details. Just tell the truth. Just tell it. It blows my mind. I have a big treat for everybody. Our friend Slim Shady is coming up today. Let's give a warm round of applause for our friend Slim. Woohoo! Slim is in the house. This has been a long time coming.
I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you want the Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand?
I'm standing. Hey, y'all. How you doing? Good afternoon. It's great to see everybody.
Good, girlfriend. And you have your own channel, and I absolutely love what you do on there.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but okay.
No.
Gotta be me.
OJ loves it.
Oh, I love OJ. Him in the box is funny.
God, I tell you what, that cat.
Yeah.
They said, "Well, the real Slim Shady, please stand up." It's here. Amba said, "I want to know the circumstances surrounding Harmony being placed with Adam." Now, we've gone through that in several shows. And if you want, I can post a show that you can look at, or we can go through the governor's report again that details it, but it's not going to be in this show. So, Amba, you tell me what you want to do. Because it was horrible. What happened to Harmony was horrible.
Yeah, really failed. Really failed by everybody. And I don't want to be up here and offend anybody, but I have a lot of history. I am a Harmony, and I was adopted, with my brother, and I was saved from this situation. So yeah, I'm offended. I am so offended by Crystal, because my real mother to this day takes lack of credit, and it's hard.
Amba said, "That's the truth I want to hear from Crystal." I misunderstood what you said. I thought you didn't know. Of course you know. Well, how did you cope with all of that? Because Jameson is going to have to cope with abandonment and what he's going to read on the internet someday.
First and foremost, Jesus, really good parents, adopted parents. counseling, a wonderful husband, and 2 amazing sons that we raised. It's just really a lifestyle, choice and change. And we were removed. We were removed out of that, so that's a lot of the healing right there, is being removed.
Before I get to the Court TV interview, I'm going to go through some other clips that kind of catch everybody up. Now, I know you watched it last night. Before we get to it, let me ask everybody in here. Who in here has seen the Court TV interview with Crystal from last night? Amba said, thankfully, the courts have kept my ex from our 2 sons. Otherwise, he'd harm them like Adam did to Harmony. Because you're a good mama, Amba. You need to really cut yourself some slack.
Yeah, you do.
We have to forgive ourselves too, guys. We do have to.
Yep.
It starts
with... I mean, just take the accountability and rise above, Man, that makes you look so much stronger, so much better, beautiful of a person. Accountability. It really means a lot.
Well, I'm going to start with Slim, since Slim is in the hot seat.
I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you want the Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand?
It's not the last time you're going to hear that.
I love the song.
So, Slim, let me ask you, what did you think of what Crystal said on Court TV last night?
Okay, so I think the most stunning thing is the baby I hear crying in the background. Did you hear that?
Uh-huh.
Is that her new baby?
I don't know.
Because she really seemed to be unaffected by a baby crying, and I can't sit still when a baby cries. I gotta go hold it. I gotta go do my thing.
She just doesn't seem to have a maternal instinct. She seems to be very self-absorbed.
Very self-absorbed, and yeah. I think that was the most disturbing, almost all the way through. You can hear that go on. And she just seems to lack. And did she lack in that? I'm really ticked off over the fact that she chose to go to an adoption process instead of the court process of Adam. Where did she think that Jameson needed her more than Harmony in that moment? And she just doesn't get it.
Well, and the lie. I mean, she lied, and she said she had to be at both at once, and she couldn't, so she went to what she thought was most important. So you're telling me what's most important is Jameson getting adopted by
2 really great guys.
You think they wouldn't have waited or gotten another court date?
Now, look,
instead of calling and advocating, the truth is she couldn't have gone to that court case for Harmony, because she lost rights in 2018. They wouldn't have listened to her.
Right.
If she told the truth, see, the truth makes sense and we can understand it. Let's take a glimpse of some more me moments of Crystal's. This is Harmony's biological mother.
Biological mother of Harmony Montgomery, the 5-year-old girl who police say was murdered by her father. Crystal Sorey has said very little publicly since her daughter's disappearance. Today, a vigil was held for Harmony in Manchester, New Hampshire, where loved ones shared hugs and memories of the little girl. And her mom explained why she dressed in a Minnie Mouse outfit for the occasion.
I figured after everything that's been happening, that I would go for Halloween as her favorite character, and I'm her favorite person, so.
You can't be her favorite person because you abandoned her and you left her to be abused by her father.
You know who her favorite people were? Jameson, Michelle, Kim. You said yourself Kim was the best daddy ever to her foster parents.
Mhm.
Those were the best people that she loved the most. She didn't even know this woman.
And she knew that Jameson's father was persona non grata. She knew he was not going to fight anything, and Jameson would be adopted by this couple. She already knew that. And the foster family wanted to adopt Harmony. So why did she not work with the social workers? The governor's report said they were trying to contact her. She wouldn't answer the phone. She didn't return voicemails.
There is a guardian ad litem in Harmony's case that I'm sure was trying to beat doors down to talk to Crystal. Where were you, Crystal? You cannot tell me that woman didn't do her job. You know? I don't know. I mean, I know drugs is a big part of this, and they're going from flop house to flop house, car to parking lot, and, you know, rehabs and stuff. But yeah, I'd like to see her take some accountability. Stop lying.
That's what I'm waiting for, especially since all of this has come out now. Since all of this has come out, and she goes on Court TV and still won't take an ownership, not in Harmony's murder, and I don't expect her to do that, but in the part she played. At least tell the damn truth.
I can't believe Vinny gave her that platform to, you know, I just can't believe Vinny Politino gave her the platform to do this. You know, wasn't a little more questionable on her. You know, there were moments where he could have been like, oh, come on, Crystal. Like, you weren't at Harmony's court case with Adam because you lost custody. So you were allowed to be there. Then he knows that. He's a reporter. He has to know that. Why would you allow her to get away with a lie? I don't know.
I wouldn't have let her lie. I mean, I guess, you know, you can't. Hang on, I got to fix my chair. I mean, I guess he can't humiliate a guest, but he could easily.
Well, why not? Ashley Banfield does it. Freaking Nancy Grace does it.
Oh, Nancy Grace will make you shit. He could have easily been like, well, hang on. Not only am I a reporter on Court TV, but I'm also an attorney. And if you have two conflicting cases, you'll get a continuance for the other one. They can't make you be in two places at one time. We have a constitution.
Right.
But he wouldn't call her out on that.
No, he wouldn't.
Right.
Crystal Sorey reported her daughter missing last year, but police believe she was last seen in 2019. Last week, her father, Adam Montgomery, was charged in her murder.
A smile.
It's horrible. Horrible. She's going to have to quit it. She's just going to have to take some ownership. Because when
Rise up.
When she says things like, I looked and I looked and I looked, nobody would help me. That is not what the governor's report said. Nothing supports what she's saying. And even when she called on November 18th, she was talking out of both sides of her mouth. She wasn't making sense. You're telling me she lives in Lowell, Massachusetts. Harmony was in Manchester, New Hampshire. Now, I heard her saying some stuff about she had problems with transportation and stuff. You're in recovery, dude. Get your sponsor to drive you up there, because this is where Harmony lived.
Mystery in New Hampshire. We are getting an exclusive look inside the house where 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery lived before she vanished 2 years ago. It comes as criticism heats up for authorities, many questioning how state investigators did not see warning signs of abuse before this little girl disappeared. Correspondent Brian Enton is staying on top of this story live for us from Manchester, New Hampshire. So Brian, tell us, have police made any progress today?
Nicole, unfortunately, still no sign of little Harmony, but for the first time today, we are getting a look inside the house where Harmony once lived.
News Nation obtaining these photos from inside the last known house missing 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery lived in. They show the bedrooms, kitchen, and inside the refrigerator. And you can see extension cords running throughout the house, hooked up to a generator outside because neighbors say the power was cut off. This is the house where police say Harmony's dad, Adam Montgomery, abused the little girl, even causing a black eye.
You're doing extreme punishments to her. She all kinds of stuff like that the therapist had gotten out of her just by playing dolls in a dollhouse. Imagine.
What is she talking about? All the therapists got out of her just by playing dolls in the dollhouse. Help me here, Slim.
What therapist? Who took her to therapy? When was that?
Well, she didn't. She said
right.
she said she did drive-bys trying to find her. Then, of course, the standard excuse, they won't answer the phone. You knew where they were.
So she's talking about therapists. She's talking about something that happened while Harmony was in her care with Adam, possibly. You know what I mean? That the therapist drug out. Well, the therapist probably wouldn't have drug it out of the little girl if Crystal had admitted back then what a piece of crap this dude is. You know? But no, the drugs are just too important.
She's going to have to come to terms, have a come to Jesus meeting with her own soul, and she is going to have to take some accountability. And honestly,
I really like what Sluggy Sue said. That's a 30-minute direct bus line. Now, I don't know how Florida's bus lines are, but I know in Ohio, in the county I grew up in, if you were on welfare, you got free bus ticket. So, Crystal, I mean, does that happen? And does anybody in chat know if you're on welfare in these states, if you get free bus fare?
Does anybody know?
Because I know that that used to happen. But it can't be that expensive, though, right? Two-way fare cannot be that expensive, can it?
Well, like I said, she's big in the recovery community. You're telling me nobody in her groups has a car that can drive 30 minutes?
Well, don't the guardian ad litems kind of help to connect mothers with their children too? Aren't they there for that?
That's exactly what Erin said. She said social workers do it all the time.
Right. So, I mean, like a lot of her stuff just doesn't add up. And I know we got a bad system. I know it's a bad system and it fails. Apparently it's failed hugely, you know, but I just cannot believe all these people did not do their jobs.
And it starts with the parents. And don't get it crossways. I'm not happy with Crystal, but Adam is the murderer here.
Yeah.
Amy in Boston said she was 5 when she was killed, and she was removed from Crystal when she was 3 months old for the first time. So when Crystal says, I'm her favorite person, I know everything about her, she couldn't possibly. She didn't look for her.
Nope, Michelle and Kim were her favorite people, and Jameson.
Yep.
I can't get over that forehead. I mean, does that look like, are we on the Coneheads?
I don't know. She needs to put that Minnie Mouse outfit back on.
Wear a headband.
I was like, oh, I told DCF, and that was that. Like months later, they hand over custody.
How is it possible she got to stay with him after all of that?
I don't understand. I still don't understand to this day.
Harmony's mom says she warned New Hampshire's Division of Children, Youth, and Families about the abuse, but was ignored. They also haven't responded to our emails or calls since last week. So we showed up to their offices today.
Hi, my name is Brian Hilton. I'm a reporter with News Nation. We've been trying to get in touch with the department, the director, about the... Is he filming? He is filming, yes.
Okay, turn around, because I don't, this side of it's not public. And I will call somebody for you.
We waited, and a representative from the communications office arrived.
All right, Jake Leon, communications.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Brian. I'm from News Nation.
Yeah, you just called me like an hour ago.
Yeah.
That's cool. You didn't tell me you were on your way.
Well, we've been emailing, calling since last week. Is there concern here about the fact that she was missing for 2 years and no one knew?
I really am not able to get into that because it's due to confidentiality.
Well, it is confidentiality, and she lied.
No, but like, Like, seriously, at this point, the little girl has passed away. What's confidential about it at in any point? Like, just be truth and transparent now. It's not going to hurt Harmony to let the truth out.
Oh, this is an old clip. At that time,
Oh,
missing. I apologize. No, this is like
sorry.
February of 2022. And they already knew a governor's inquest was coming in, and they had to supply all these reports and everything. So when she said she kept calling and the police wouldn't help and no one would call, when no one would help, the governor's reports like that didn't happen. The first call that was made about Harmony, there was a call in October of 2019, I believe, but she called the police in November.
I thought we first heard that her friend called to report Harmony missing. Wasn't that how it was being reported to begin with?
You know, she said a lot of stuff on her Facebook, but the official document says that she called Crystal herself on November 18th of 2021. No, 2020. Was it 20? Yeah, 2021, I think.
Okay. I'll take the official document over Crystal's mouth.
Over what Crystal has to say, for sure. Sluggy Sleuth said Crystal said herself, when this is over, my boys won't want for anything again. She thinks that she's going to sue the Department of Family and Children, and she's going to get bukus of money. Big bucks deluxe, she said.
I would like to see Jameson's fathers file a suit on his behalf to hold his right till he turns 18 if he wants to file a suit against the state when he turns an adult. I would like to see his dad do that, and the courts will allow it. They'll allow Jameson the time to grow up, go through counseling, and present his own suit because, yeah, things got to change, and they won't until people have to pay.
I think they should start putting these parents in jail.
Yeah.
The government's not here to raise your kids. And when someone keeps lying and lying and lying, saying they won't do anything, when it turns out a phone call was never even made. Now, a very crucial mistake was made because she was given to Teardrop in Massachusetts. And he went to New Hampshire and there was no follow-up because they don't have an interstate compact. That is a crucial mistake.
Did he have makeup on sitting there? I mean, how can a guardian ad litem give this child over to him looking the way he does? Who would give a kid to a teardropper?
That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
The department later sent us a statement saying the department is continually reviewing its processes to ensure the best possible outcomes for children and families. The Division for Children, Youth, and Families has conducted a preliminary internal review on this case, and as is the case whenever a critical incident involving a child occurs, a comprehensive quality assurance review is completed. The statement went on to say their primary focus is locating Harmony. Crystal's mom hopes that is everyone's focus right now.
Come forward and tell us something, because somebody knows something. It's a fact.
And Harmony's dad remains behind bars on abuse charges. Her stepmother is also locked up on a welfare fraud charge. And we just learned today she will now be facing an additional theft charge and will be back in court on Thursday.
Well, and I can speed this up right now because as we know, I'm going to fast forward to today. Stepmeth is still in jail. She's going to be held there for probably another 18 months to 2 years, depending on how she behaves. She is a state's witness, and she'll be testifying against Teardrop in the murder trial of Harmony Montgomery.
Yeah, I enjoyed that part where Crystal talked about stepmeth. And that's about the only part I agreed with, but I don't agree that Crystal has the right to talk about her. You ain't no different, skank.
What did Slim Shady say?
Oh, Amica cream? I don't know.
Slim just said skank.
I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand?
True crime bureau. Uh-oh, we have come back.
I know. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna confuse everybody. I have to change my avatar. I changed my name. I know I confused everybody. I'm so sorry.
Hey,
I'm now
Shannon.
True Crime Beat. How are you, Slim?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, except that I'm really been mad lately. Everything. I want to get a punching bag. I think we need a CLL crime punch bag, and we should all create them. Because then we can go in the other room and punch the living crap out of it every time something like this happens.
That's
I think I feel so much better.
I just
Because
popped open another beer.
I don't drink though. I need something else. I don't know. I just usually just stare at things and yell randomly into my computer, and go, "What the heck is wrong with you?" And I try not to say bad words, but it happens. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Crystal it frustrated me to no end to hear her, and I just wanted to yell at Vinny, why are you letting her go on and on and on? I mean, it's like he's no Beigefield and he's no Nancy Grace. Okay, usually he's a little bit harder core than that though.
He really
So I'm a little disappointed. I'm really disappointed in Vinny, and I'm thinking about sending him an email and asking him what the heck's going on, because he's letting her get away. He knows this case. Come on. He's not dumb, okay? He knows, and I don't know if it's his producers or what the heck's going on, but I commented in there a couple times, and I saw a number of other people saying the same thing. They're like, it was Jameson. Get the story straight. So I'm glad there's enough people that are out there all for harmony. And I'm like, Crystal, just come clean. Tell us you screwed up. You did not. You were too interested in your own little world. You did not care enough about your little girl to check up on her for 2 years. Just be clean. Let us know. But she's not gonna recover like you said, Brooke. She's not, because if she doesn't come clean, it's never gonna happen for her. And it is sad that Slim, by the way, that she does seem to have another baby in the background. And I thought, oh no,
what's going on there? But
hang on, we have an echo. Shannon, do you have your YouTube app?
I closed it, but let me double check it. No, my YouTube should be. Hang on, I closed it. Hang on a minute.
Mine's just on StreamYard.
I closed that window. Do I need to go out and come back in? Am I still echoey?
Does it only do it when I talk?
Is it from me?
What's just me?
I can't see the chat. Should I go out and come back in? Is it me? I don't know who it is. Because if y'all are fine, maybe it is me. But I closed it.
Let me drop out.
Okay.
Can you repost the link?
All right, while she gets this fixed, we're going to look at, and we lost Slim too. Where'd Slim go? While she's getting that fixed, sorry about that. It's a live show. I put the link back up. We had some technical issues. This was yet another lie that went on. This is Crystal's sister.
There's people that have come forward and said that they've seen Harmony in 2020, that they've either hugged her or given her something.
The aunt of Harmony Montgomery says Harmony's mom 2 weeks ago met with an employee of a New Hampshire dollar store, where the child secretly warned the clerk that Adam and his wife Kayla Montgomery changed the girl's name.
She whispered to the lady, she said, "My name's Harmony." Sorry, it just makes me upset to think about it. And
this whole story came from Crystal. Have you heard this story, Slim, about how she said that Harmony had her name changed and was seen at a dollar store buying a costume?
I haven't seen this at all.
Let me rewind it, because this is yet another lie of hers.
there's people that have come forward and said that they've seen Harmony in 2020, that they've either hugged her or given her something.
The aunt of Harmony Montgomery says Harmony's mom 2 weeks ago met with an employee of a New Hampshire dollar store where the child secretly warned the clerk that Adam and his wife Kayla Montgomery changed the girl's name.
She whispered to the lady, she said, "My name's Harmony." Sorry, it just makes me upset thinking about it. And it just stuck to her.
The family went to police.
She was shaken up. She was scared. She was nervous. She was, crying.
The store encounter was early 2020. The store employee now keeps in touch about the missing Harmony.
Okay, so where's the video?
She can't keep in touch. She was murdered in 2019. Let's bring up Crime Curious. What do you think about this lie that was put out?
Hello, this is the first time I'm hearing of, well, I mean, I did see that she was allegedly cited in 2020, which we now know it can't be because she was killed on December 7th, 2019. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about it.
Where's the store surveillance? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay.
Who would make up something so ridiculous and say that Crystal just who couldn't find Harmony, never went to check on her, happened to go to a dollar store where an employee said, "Oh, Harmony came to me."
Isn't it amazing in times of trouble, times of real need, when you need really good information, how many cockroaches come out with some pretty ridiculous crap,
Right.
Everybody wants to be a part somehow of the story. I don't know.
And Harmony supposedly said, "My real name's Harmony," but they were calling her a different name and she was trying to get a costume. But the lady at the dollar store keeps in touch. No, this is another lie of Crystal's.
Yeah.
And Adam came to the store and told the lady, "Stop asking questions to my family." So that's the last tip we've got so far. But they named her Ansley. They kept saying her name was Ansley. And she said, "My name is Harmony." And she whispered it to the lady.
Reacting to that scathing Office of Child Advocate report, Harmony's mother texted News Center 5, "For me, it just goes to show how badly they..."
This makes me seethe. Crystal, sorry. For me, it just goes to show how badly they failed my daughter. I never missed a visit. That was not a good idea. He is a violent person. You didn't show up to court. You lost custody in 2018. You got your groove on with a new dude. You kept doing drugs. You had another baby. You broke up with the new dude. You found you another new pogo stick. The only reason that you made that phone call to the police is because Jameson was missing his sister and his adoptive fathers were getting on your ass saying, "How do we get in touch with Harmony?" All she did was make a phone call in November of 2021. Go ahead, Crumb Curious.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to get together actually with Jameson's adopted father, Blair. And I have so many questions because that is what it seems like. The story gets told that Crystal was concerned and she had been looking all over for Harmony and Adam throughout 2021. But there's, of course, no proof of that anywhere. I mean, we see that the last time she spoke with Harmony was during that FaceTime or, whatever it was, the video call.
That was in April of 2019. Harmony was 20 minutes away from her. And the governor's report spells it out. All of these things that she said she did never happened.
See, that's what I got questions about, is that FaceTime visit. You never missed a visit, but you bought a Easter basket and you put it on a FaceTime. I think you were missing a visit and you couldn't show up in person and ended up FaceTiming her instead. So you did miss a visit.
Right, but that's probably a technicality. Here we go with the technicalities. Like, she technically visited her because it was a FaceTime. And I'm learning so much about that time period in 2019 when they were at Adam's grandmother's house after Adam's grandmother moved out, which would have been right around the time. So Adam's grandmother moved out of 77 Guilford Street in January of 2019. And then Crystal has that last visit in April of 2019. And I saw records last night from calls for service to the 77 Guilford Street address that started, around, I think the first one was around June of 2019, and then all the way through until they were evicted the day before Thanksgiving. But really disturbing is after they were evicted on January 12th of 2020. Okay, so they were evicted the day before Thanksgiving. Harmony's killed within 2 weeks, right? On January 12th of 2020, there's another call for service at 77 Guilford Street, and it describes a foul odor. Now, that's the time when they were in the fit shelter. And so, but looking back at all those calls for service, I mean, there were so many. There were people calling 911 and saying, hey, there's squatters living in the house. There's no electricity. There's trash everywhere. There's kids running around. At one point, there was a call because someone was abusing a dog. At one point, there was a call because someone was abusing children. There was a domestic violence call where they were beating each other up. There was another one where the car looked like it was broken into. And there were a couple of calls. So at one point, Adam calls 911 to tell the police that he let somebody borrow the Sebring and he didn't bring it back. Now you guys know what that's all about, right?
Uh-huh.
So you let some dope fiend take your car to go pick up dope and he doesn't come back. So you call your friends, the police, and say, hey, he took my money in my car and he didn't come back with the dope. Go catch him, you idiot. And then there was another call from Kayla. So this time Kayla calls 911 and she calls them to report that a friend of theirs had come over the night before and spent the night and the next day was refusing to leave and he was high. And so Kayla wanted the police to come and trespass him from the property that they were, by the way, squatting at. And they did. The police came and trespassed him from the property. The guy that they didn't want there partying anymore.
Wow.
And the kids were there the whole time. So I've been working on this timeline where I started with all of the information from the probable cause affidavit, which was difficult because Kayla lied so many damn times that I would put information in that Kayla had given, and then I would have to go back and go, oh, no, wait. During her third interview, she said this actually happened. And it was so hard to track. But I finally got it done. And the first phase of the timeline is complete. And when you look at it from, in a linear fashion with the dates, it gives you a different perspective. And you notice things like when Adam and Kayla and their son, because they only had one son at the time, they moved into that house on Guilford Street. And then the second son was born, and less than 30 days later, they got custody of Harmony.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pepper in all of these 911 calls. And then so I did put it up on my website. I thought that I had your email address, Brooks, but
yeah, send me your email because I'll send you my timeline. Because time in these cases drives me up the wall. For some reason, I have to know times and dates. It seems to be a very important part of our world, if you know what I mean. And there is a time between April of 2019 when the FaceTime call was made with Crystal, where she dangled the Easter basket. And then when the assault happened in August of 2019. And I've been trying to fill in May, June, and July because you can't tell me with these imbeciles, nothing didn't go down.
Yeah, well, I've got a lot from June and July because of these calls for service to Guilford Street. And looking at the probable cause affidavit, you track the location. So, the car broke down at Elm and Webster, and I've got maps and everything too. I can't wait to send you this stuff. I mean, it's on my website if you want to check it out, and you can see like the maps I put together and stuff. And you're welcome to use anything I do, always. You already know that.
And I'll probably
But-
do it. I'll give you credit. Now, some people, I'll just take credit for their work, like my friend Kat or my friend Shannon here or my friend
Yeah.
Slim. I'll be like, oh, look at me.
I don't mind. I mean, the reason I put it together is to put it out into the world, so be it, right? Okay, so the car breaks down at Elm and Webster. They go back to Colonial Village, and Harmony's in the duffel bag. And then she allegedly goes into the trunk, and then here, let me just make sure I don't skip anything. I'm sorry. So and I'm getting to my question for you, and I just want to see if you think that I'm off base. Okay, let me get to that page. Sorry.
See, I gotta look at your website, Crime Curious, because I'm like, man, I want to see what you got.
Yeah, it's just crimecurious.com, and then I added a page for Montgomery. So if you just do crimecurious.com/Montgomery, you can see what I'm looking at. So I started with the probable cause affidavit, and I separated it into 3 sections. 1 is people, 2 is places, and that's where all the maps are, and then 3 is the timeline. And I have like my questions highlighted, and then I break down the timeline, by year at 2019. But I have to ask you this question. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I wasn't really prepared. Okay, so December 7th, Adam kills Harmony with several blows to the head from the front seat while Harmony's in the rear passenger seat. The Chrysler Sebring breaks down at the intersection of Elm and Webster. Adam puts Harmony's body into the Under Armour duffel bag and walks it back to Colonial Village Apartments. I've got a little map of walking and how long it takes and what the route is. So then the family lives in Badero's Audi for a couple of days with Harmony in the trunk. Kimberly Frayne, which was the lady from the weapons charges, she visits them that night and doesn't see Harmony. So that kind of corroborates that Harmony's in the trunk. So sometime in December of 2019, Adam and Kayla and the boys move in with Kayla's mom on Dubuque Street. They stay for, 2 to 3 weeks, allegedly, leaving at the end of December. And Harmony's in the cooler. December 16th, there's something with the abandoned vehicle. December 30th, okay, and this is where my question comes in. So December 30th of 2019, Adam and Kayla and the boys move into the fit shelter. And according to the affidavit, Harmony goes directly into the ceiling inside the duffel bag, and then he continues to add plastic bags around it as if that's going to do anything, right?
But they could smell her. You know what I think happened? I think her mother opened that cooler and told them to get the hell out.
Oh, it's possible.
Because they couldn't find any DNA in it. And they went and got it. She bleached it. She ammoniated it. She scrubbed it. She told them to get the hell out.
Something that struck me last night in the video with Vinny, the interview, was the same thing I was thinking the other day. Kayla laid under Harmony's dead body and got pregnant.
Right.
Oh my
God.
God.
Kayla, if
that's how disgusting these people are, all of them.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I never even
dear.
thought about that.
Oh.
Yeah. Kayla would have gotten pregnant
Woo!
with her daughter in February of 2020.
Yep.
So they're getting one while her poor little body is rotting up in that ceiling. The pictures from
but here's the
ceiling give me nightmares. The picture from the bathroom he was in for 6 hours with the shower going.
Yeah, see, I don't think that Harmony was at the fit shelter the whole time. And that's what I want to talk to you about, or that's what I wanted to ask you about. Because looking at my timeline, Adam and Kayla and the boys move in December 30th, 2019 into the fit shelter. And then on January 12th, somebody calls 911 to report that the front door of Guilford Street has been kicked in, and that there was an incredibly foul odor. I think they took her back to Guilford Street for a while, where they had been evicted the day before Thanksgiving. And the reason I think that is because Adam and Kayla and the boys were living at the fit shelter from December 30th all the way up until, February. But Kayla admits to pushing the front to back stroller over to Portland Pie Company on February 7th of 2020. Okay, so if we look at the day that they moved into the fit shelter until the day that Kayla claims she walked her dumbass over to Portland Pie Company, that's 39 days. And I just can't believe that Harmony would have been in the ceiling or the closet. She did say that so the first smell complaint at the fit shelter was February 5th, 2020. And then she says at that time, now, and this is during her third interview, because at one point she said that they transferred Harmony into the maternity bag at the Union Street apartment. And then she came back and said, surprise, I lied. Sorry. And then she says, no, actually, Adam transferred Harmony from the duffel bag into the maternity bag at the fit shelter in the bathroom. And then when the smell complaint happened, and then they stored the maternity bag in the fit shelter closet for like 2 days. And then she walked it to Portland Pie Company. So that's the last version of the alleged truth from Kayla Pants on Fire Montgomery, right?
Yeah.
But just looking at the date,
that came into when they went to the apartment on Union Street. That's when he went to the shower and dismembered her and put her in the maternity bag, the CMC bag.
Nope. Because Kayla
that was
was in there
one.
with him.
That was one version. That was one version. She came back after she told that story at the next proffer interview, because she had 2 proffer interviews. She came back at the next proffer interview and said, actually, she was transferred into the CMC maternity bag at the fit shelter. I've got
the reason
that
I
part.
believe the Union Street apartment one is because of them taking out the refrigerator, the FBI in the manhole,
Right.
the fact that he was in the shower for 6 to 7 hours.
Yeah, no, all that happened. That all happened.
Oh yeah, she lied. Lied.
The detail that was different was she had said that in that bathroom is when she was transferred from the duffel bag into the maternity bag. But it turns out she was already in the maternity bag, and that's what she was in when she went to Portland Pie Company. And then from Portland Pie Company, she went to Union Street, already in the maternity bag, and then they took her into the bathroom and tried to reduce her in size. But the point is she was already inside the maternity bag.
Which I think happened at Union Street, because it only makes sense because of what they said. They found biological evidence there. Now the thing is, I cannot get over, besides Jameson, who yes is very important in this, Harmony also has 3 other half siblings who are being raised by stepmeth's mother right now. I'm sure you've seen our coverage of that and how she changed the timeline. So the internet lives forever. They're going to realize sometime in their life that Harmony's dead body was in the car with them, up above them, in a cooler, and sandwiched between them in a stroller.
Whoa, that makes me cringe. Yeah.
That is sick.
But I see what Curious is saying. I mean, but if they went back to Guilford Street, can that be confirmed that if Guilford Street was vacant at that time or not?
Well, it was vacant because they had been evicted in November, and they left the place. That house was supposed to go up for auction. Adam's grandmother moved out in January of 2019 and stopped paying the mortgage. And so the property went back to the bank, and they weren't officially evicted because squatters have rights. And they weren't officially evicted by the sheriff's department until November 27th of 2019. Right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, the day before Thanksgiving. And so basically what I'm saying is that they would have at some point gone back to Guilford Street, broken into the place basically because they no longer had access. And I'm sure that the bank, once they took possession, would have locked it up. But they would have had to do so much work. I mean, you saw the pictures of that place, and they left it that way when they moved out.
Well,
And
see,
so
they didn't own it; they rented it, and I've always wondered because I can't find who the landlords are, and I was hoping Amy in Boston or Amba could help me out there because at some point somebody's got to go over and say, "You're not paying rent. You don't
yeah,
have."
no, they weren't renting. It was Adam's grandmother's house. She owned it, and she stopped paying the mortgage in January of 2019. So it was a foreclosure, and it went back to the bank. But as squatters, they have rights. And he claimed to be a renter as if he was renting from his grandmother. Him, Uncle Kevin, Brother Michael's girlfriend, all of them at one point were living there together.
See, because I've heard the grandmother had it and he was renting it from her. Then I heard it was Kevin because when Kevin and the grandmother went over there to get a few things, as they said, they brought police backup, but not a one of them would make a phone call to help Harmony.
Right. Right.
Kayla only protected her children. All right, let's start the Court TV thing. And I tell you what, I am loving this panel. Loving it.
But I am curious real quick, though. Crime curious, though. If we could see if anybody ever moved into that place. If so, when? Because when they searched it, was somebody living there or was it still vacant?
It was still vacant. And they searched it. They searched it 2 days before Adam was arrested. You know where we have Adam's police interview?
Right. Where he was in the car.
They searched it 2 days before, and it was still vacant at that point.
So
they dug up the whole backyard. They had heaters out there. Just me and I did a show about it in March of 2022. They had warmer blankets in the backyard, and they were digging up the backyard. At one time, they thought she was in the backyard.
Yep.
Sadly, that would have been easier. That would have been easier, sadly.
Hey, you guys, I don't know how Massachusetts deals with their squatter rights and whatever else, but I know down here in Florida, banks will pay people, squatters, to get out of a house. And I bought my house, I don't know, 13 years ago, and it was bank owned. It went back to the bank because, the big bust of Florida. But they don't fix these houses up. You get them at a really good rate, and you fix them up yourself. So I don't know when it went to auction. I don't know if you can get on the tax site or somebody can to, for the county, to look that up. But typically that's how bank-owned properties go. But they do pay squatters down here at least to get out, and they pay them good. I mean,
they do. Florida's like, we'll get out. Here's some money. Take a hike.
Here's 10 grand. Get out of here.
They do. They don't care. Florida doesn't care.
It's a good money maker if you want to squat.
Yeah, one of the things that I want to do is I want to request the body cam footage from January 12th when they got the call to check on the property after it was vacant, where they were talking about the foul odor. I've seen the record of the service call, but I want to see the body cam footage, and then we'll be able to see inside that house, because if the police show up and they have to inspect the property, they're going to be walking around inside the house. So we'll know exactly what condition it was left in and all of that, and see what the police say about any sort of odor. And I think that, I don't know, I'm going to try and get that body cam footage.
I think that's going to be a hit, is the body cam, just like it was in Gannon's case. And it's been in every case. So,
Well, Hopefully you
Yeah,
can get
because
it. You may start closing all that out with the case coming up. I don't know what they're doing with all this evidence. Because in November, if we hopefully this can get this all taken care of, but I would love to see it too.
yeah, I just can't believe that that Harmony would have been inside the fit shelter for 39 days. I mean, she was
No.
obviously there for a while.
I think he moved her somewhere else because he was putting her in the snow and stuff like that.
Right.
Because of smells and stuff like that. I don't think she was in the ceiling the whole time. But I think when they got to Union Street, it is similar to what Kayla says, because I'll never take Kayla at her face word, if you know what I mean.
God, no.
I think she was in the refrigerator. I think she got dismembered and put in the freezer. I think she was in the freezer of the pie company. I think it's horrible. And like I said, these children are going to read about this someday. They're going to want to know what happened to their sister. And when these kids find out that their sister's remains were sandwiched between them in a stroller, I don't think Kayla's going to get any second chance to be the mama, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
How many of those 3 babies at least 2 of them of Kayla's, Harmony was the mother to, just like she was Jameson, you know?
Right.
They're 2 more Jamesons basically in her life that have to get through this, and we have to rely on step meth to do the right thing and get them counseling and the help. Do you think that's going to happen? What'd she do for her daughter?
The problem that I'm having, okay, clearly Adam Montgomery is a monster. But once I read the probable cause affidavit, I was so angry at Kayla. Just I couldn't even process how I felt about Adam because I was livid about Kayla. And then here comes Vinnie Politan last night, right after my live stream, interviewing Crystal. And now I'm angry about that. It's like all of this anger. I know that at the core of this thing is Adam Montgomery, right? But I'm having to process so much shit because of the things that happened around the monster.
Yeah.
You know,
I started to feel bad for Step Meth during the weapons trial. I thought, man, maybe she's doing better. And as soon as I read that, I was like, heck, and I'm trying to put this mildly without cursing. I was like, hell with her. I have zero care in the world. Let her rot in a hole.
Right. And then Crystal last night had me half-assed defending Kayla. And I'm like, wait, what? No, I'm going to bed. I'm done.
I did that too. I turned him off. I was like, I'll watch you in the morning and I won't like it.
But that's what depraved people do. That's what the devil does. He gets you so confused about evil that you feel bad for evil people.
Right.
Narcissists are great at it. They will make you feel bad about something they did. And that's what these people have done.
Yeah. I got mad at myself for thinking, man, I felt bad for Kayla. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what happened to me last night. And there's a point in the interview with Crystal last night where she's like condemning Kayla for like, if I have to choose between myself and the child, I'm going to choose myself. And I'm just like, oh, that was Freudian, you dumb. Oh my God. And
that was truth.
You
right
nailed
there.
it.
That was exactly her speaking the truth.
We got 1 bit of truth. Out of an hour, we got 3 seconds of truth.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Have you played that part yet, Brooks?
No, we're going to start it right now.
Oh yeah.
The life of little Harmony Montgomery is almost too tragic to talk about. Her death was so violent and so utterly reprehensible that it's almost too disturbing to talk about. But tonight, we will talk about both, because Harmony deserves to be remembered, and this little angel deserves justice. Harmony was born to Crystal Sorey and Adam Montgomery, but unfortunately for Harmony, both her parents suffered from addiction problems. These issues were addressed by a judge in family court in Massachusetts in a questionable hearing where Adam, a career criminal, was granted sole custody of Harmony in New Hampshire. Harmony then lived with her father and stepmother, Kayla. The couple was evicted from their home and began living in a car. That's where prosecutors say Adam murdered his daughter in 2019. For 2 years, no one reported her missing until Crystal started making some noise and alerted authorities, who began searching for Harmony. Harmony has never been found.
Okay, I have to pause this from here every now and then. You know how it goes. She started making some noise. According to the probable cause affidavit, the first alert they had was in November of 2019. That's the only noise. The authorities contacted DCYF to go find Harmony. They contacted them back and said, we can't find her. And they got on it.
But now Adam has been charged with her murder, and Kayla, his estranged wife, will be the prosecution's most important witness at trial. Tonight, we go in depth into the life of this beautiful little girl with her mom, Crystal, who joins us this hour for a live interview.
I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And for the last year and a half, we've spent a lot of time talking about a little girl who was missing. Her name is Harmony Montgomery. And you followed everything that has happened during the course of this investigation. But Harmony can't tell her own story. It's impossible. It's just, and it's heartbreaking. You want someone to be able to tell their story. And Harmony can't tell her story because she's missing and she's presumed dead. And there'll be a trial all about that. Now, when you're that young, it's usually the people around you who can, you know, kind of fill in the gaps and tell us your story. Unfortunately, the adults who were living with Harmony when she went missing and was presumably murdered, filled her life with chaos. Chaos that resulted in death. And we're talking, of course, about Adam and Kayla, the father and stepmother. I guess that would be her story at that moment in time, in that small window of time of her life. But there's more. So where do you go to tell that story, to figure out who this little girl was, the spirit of Harmony and what made her happy? What did she like to do? I mean, we haven't heard that. We've been covering this story for a year and a half, and we haven't been able to hear that story yet. And I think for most children, that story starts with mom. There's little Harmony with her mom, Crystal. And
Okay, I'm going to bring up one at a time. Slim, what did you think when old Vin said, and I think for all children that story starts with mom, but this is the mom that left her in a cloud of dust?
Well, let's start there. Let's start at where this started for Harmony, where this all went wrong. A meth head got pregnant by a murderer, an abusive, nasty murderer. So let's start there. Like, let's just tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and then let's go on from there and say, hey, the real people that gave this girl life were Michelle and Kim, her foster parents, who have had her since she was 3 months old. You think they had Jameson also?
At one time, I believe they did, because she took care of Jameson, and then Jameson went through the adoption process, and he's been adopted.
How beautiful he got to spend that really happy time of his sister's life with Kim and Michelle. You know?
Yeah, it's just horrible.
And Crystal is joining us and is here tonight to tell Harmony's story. And I think it's going to be, for the first time for us, an opportunity to finally get to know this little girl. So let me right away bring in our special guest joining us, Harmony's mom, Crystal Sorey, joining us tonight. Crystal, thank you so much. I hope you know that people around the nation, around the world, know Harmony's story, and they send their prayers and their love and everything else. And I hope you've felt that. Can we start tonight? Because, and this is going to be a tough hour. I know it's going to be difficult, but let's please start. And you were gracious enough to send us a bunch of photos that we've never seen before. And let's focus right now on the times that Harmony was happy and what that was like, what she was doing, and what you remember.
She was just such a kind little girl, you know. Ever since she was so little, you know, she was just, they always said the first day she was born, she was like bright-eyed and she stared right at you and lifted her head right up, and you know, she was ready, you know, she was ready for the world. And every person that ever met her said she's a light, you know. She lights up the room when she walks in, you know. She couldn't stand to see anybody sad or mad. She's just so happy, you know. She loved to dance and sing, and she always tell me, "Mommy, I'm gonna be a superstar," you know. And she sure is. You know, she loved.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to bring up Crime Curious. Crystal said, "Mommy, I'm going to be a superstar." Now, I have no idea when this conversation could have taken place. And she said, "And she sure is. This is not the way your child is a star."
Right. Or you either.
Oh,
Yeah. So, first of all, I was just disgusted when Vinny used the word gracious to describe this woman. It pissed me off. And when Crystal was talking about, you know, her being a superstar, it led me back to, you know, Minnie Mouse is her favorite character, and her favorite person was her mom. And that also gets under my skin, right? You know, and I think back to Ganon and how he loved Sonic and Mario, and according to Albert, Mario was his favorite. And we started, you know, those of us out here in the true crime universe, we started associating Ganon with, you know, Sonic and Mario, right? And the color blue. Well, so Crystal shows up in the damn Minnie Mouse outfit saying that that's, you know, that's Harmony's favorite character and that she's Harmony's favorite person. Have you seen one single person talking about Minnie Mouse, you know, or going, "Oh, Harmony loved Minnie Mouse, we're going to associate that with this story"? I haven't seen one. I don't think we're going to see any, because I think everybody was as disgusted as we are.
Because it's all me, 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 me. Crystal
Right.
Sorey, me, me, me. Minnie Meth, me, me, me. Minnie Mouse is Crystal's favorite character, not Harmony's.
Right. Yeah, it just bothers me. And, you
Her
know,
brother.
I wish
You
her
know,
well.
that's one thing I can say. She loved being a big sister. at first she wasn't very fond of it. She was like, "Oh no, what is happening?" You know, but she fell in love with him right away. Right away. She wanted to do everything for him, you know, feed him, and I think for a little while she thought he was a doll. But then I think, you know, I kept having to explain to her that he was not a doll and he was very much a real baby. Yeah, she just so much life, filled with so much life. We would walk. I was in a program when I had gotten her back. You know, I was always fighting to get clean. You know, that was one thing that she did for me was she made me realize that there was more to life than just the bad things. You know, drugs and parties and, you know, toxicity. You know, when she was born, I realized I didn't want that anymore. And I wanted things to be different. I wanted to break the cycle. So I just kept going to programs, and I tried to make it so she didn't really know. She called it our adventure because I tried not to let her know that this was a sober house. You know, I tried to let her think that this is just where we had to be right now so that mommy could be better. And she didn't care because she had all these friends and life was as normal as it could be for her, you know. You know, she was going to school and she had.
Harmony did not say to Mini Meth, "This is our adventure." You see, children don't think that way. Who does she think she's kidding? She's going to have to get a grip on reality. This is such a horrible thing to do to Harmony's memory. Don't make stuff up. Don't make stuff up. And what do you mean? She taught me there's more to life. Well, then why are you lying? Why didn't you do something? Why didn't you let her get adopted?
Had all these friends, and there was always activities going on, always birthday parties and events, and you know they were always doing these amazing things for the kids, you know. So she was happy, you know, and I just want to emphasize that so much, that like her life wasn't always bad. It was only bad when he got her. She was very much loved by everybody who met her. Like, you know, her daycare people, they still reach out to me, and you know, really anybody that she left a mark on. I'm very close with her foster parents. They've been my family from day one, you know. They believed in me when no one else did, you know.
You know what I'm hearing
Michelle
from you,
fought
Crystal?
alongside me.
You know what I'm hearing?
Yeah. What?
This little girl saved you.
She did.
All right, Slim. Are you getting some narcissistic feelings from this?
I'm getting really pissed off because, I mean, good night. Like, how is she walking the streets and somebody has not kicked her ass by now? Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I am so glad I'm in Southwest Florida. I'd be arrested for the first time in my life, and I'm 50 years old.
She was loved by her daycare providers.
Of course she was. Look at her. We all love her. Everybody loves her, but who should have loved her didn't. Why? You know? And no. That wasn't an adventure to her. And it comes up here later. Crystal knows stressful situations make Harmony pee her pants. So you think those swapping from flop house to flop house and detox to detox. Oh, there's children's parties. She's having a blast. No, she's pissing herself there too, right?
Mm-hmm. Crystal's going to be pissing herself when she finds out this is not a payday for her. This is not going to be a payday for Crystal. Nobody wants to buy her book. She's not going to get to sue because she's going to get chewed up in discovery because she did nothing for her own daughter. She lied over and over. We have a governor's report. We have a probable cause.
Can we sing the song? Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie.
For real. And when
she does.
She's talking about the foster parents, and she's like, and they believed in me. This is not about you. Why do these parents of murdered, abused, essayed children make it about them? No one gives a shit about you.
If they really do believe in Crystal, then why aren't they by her side in all these interviews? Where are they at? Right? Crickets. If I was standing next and had Crystal's back as a foster mom, I'd be right there with her, supporting her all the way. They weren't at the memorial service, correct? That I know of. They weren't pointed out anywhere. They haven't sought any public, no YouTube, no interviews, no nothing. They ain't standing with her. I'd love to hear from them.
I would too, and I'd love to hear because I know that the men that adopted Jameson, they let Crystal visit him from time to time, but they're not singing her praises. But I'd love to hear from the foster family. I'd love to hear from them.
Yeah, they should reach out to you. You'd be about the best channel for them to vent and speak upon. And this is a great chat that would support them because I don't believe those people did anything wrong. They got caught up in a really bad mess.
I just cannot believe the arrogance of her. She's just arrogant. I can't stand this.
She really did. She saved me. And I was trying to do the same for her. But nobody would listen to me. It was like I have never in my life felt so invisible.
Well, let's
it was basically
let's talk about that because I'm a lawyer and I've gone through and tried to figure out what happened at this hearing where Adam ended up getting custody. And is it true that you were in the courthouse in a different courtroom taking care of another matter involving one of your other children in front of a different judge, and the judge that was handling Harmony's case went forward without you in the room because you were in front of another judge involving your other child?
Yes. Actually, I wasn't in the same building. So Jameson's case, because he was born in Boston, his case was out of Boston. I had to pick between the two hearings. And it was basically, if I was at either one of them, if I wasn't at either one of them, it was going to go bad for me. So I called my lawyer, Frantic in Lawrence, and I said, I sent over from that courthouse to the other courthouse that I would proof that I was there. He said, I will, quote, fight for a continuance. That never happened. There was no continuance granted. There was no continuance fought for, and they moved forward and handed him custody.
Okay, and that was in Massachusetts, and our Massachusetts friends have told me over and over that it's almost impossible to lose custody in Massachusetts. You tell me what family court judge is not going to let the natural mother of a child not be present because they have to pick between the two children. What is this? The movie Sophie's Choice? She had to pick between the children and said, I'll take my son.
There you go. A mother who's already lost Harmony. She's already lost her. That's why she didn't go there. She couldn't. She had no rights there. She had no voice there. She didn't have a attorney friend there. There were attorneys there. I think they were all for Harmony, though.
No way. She had no voice because, according to the probable cause affidavit, she lost custody in 2018.
So in the same day, not only did my son get adopted, but my daughter got handed over to the one person that I begged them never to give her to. There were so many family members that had stepped up. There were family members that had been vetted and still denied. There's just so many things that people don't know that what really happened. Like, there were family that wanted her. You know, Michelle would have adopted her.
And who is Michelle, for folks at home who don't know?
Her foster mother. When I didn't have her, Michelle did. That's her other mommy. And Tim, her husband, will always be Harmony's real father. The only man that showed her what real fatherly love was like. Truly, she loved Tim very much. And I want people to know as well that Harmony didn't call Adam dad. She called him Adam. I really want people to let that sink in. Because, you know, I think people skimmed through a lot of the OCA report and things because out of anger, you know.
And again, when I went through the history of this, Crystal, going through the history of this, like in handing Harmony over to Adam, who's number one in another state,
I have to look at this comment. I don't know if you can see the screen, Slim. They all wanted Harmony, but no one noticed Harmony was missing. All these family members. What about your crackhead sister, Crystal, that you said with your investigative work, you found a Dollar Store employee that saw Harmony in March of 2020, which would be impossible because by this time she'd already been killed in a cooler and in a ceiling, and that this woman was keeping in contact with you.
You know,
she
I
also
think
said not going to those hearings would be very bad for her. Ilyanka said they all wanted Harmony, but no one noticed she was missing. Go ahead, Slim.
I think if we listen really close, we can hear her have a little cotton mouth and be doing this tongue slap. Now, I know that can be a speech impediment, but usually that's in a sentence and there's a lot of ums that's done along with it. I think she might be on something here still to this day. I don't know. I don't like her.
I don't think this tiger changed her stripes
at all. And look what she wore. Leopard skin. What the heck was she thinking? Was she trying to seduce Vinny? He don't look impressed.
No.
He ain't impressed.
But Vinny's got a spray tan. Did everybody notice that? Not like a Brian Itten spray tan, but he's got a spray tan.
Yeah. He might have had some Botox.
Oh, he's definitely got that.
There's like no one's questioning or finding out, well, does he work? Does he have a place? Is he a career? Is he a career criminal? Does he understand how to take care of Harmony? None of this happened in the hearing.
Nothing. Mind you, was well aware she was disabled. You know, she was blind in her right eye. She was not technically developmentally disabled because she could talk very well by the time she was 2. I remember people didn't believe me that she was 2. Like, as soon as she would open their mouth, they'd be like, she's not 2, no way. And I'm like, she's 2, I'm serious. Like, I don't need to lie. I'm not going to carry her birth certificate around, but she's, she's 2.
Is that really
she's a very
true?
Smart girl, And the thing that baffles
I have a feeling that Harmony was a very smart child because she had to become an adult because she had to deal with life. And abused children, believe it or not, are usually extremely they have a lot of common knowledge because they see the inner workings of the family and they have to adapt to new situations all the time.
Abused children are like the childlike MacGyvers of the world.
Mm-hmm.
They figure it out, and they keep working that puzzle to keep themselves out of stuff. But is that true? Was she really blind in her eye? Because I heard early reports saying that no, she wasn't blind. It was just lazy. And that can be corrected with surgery.
I know that she had a problem with one of her eyes. J Cal, thank you for joining the channel. You ought to become a member. Don't forget, become a member. How is anything you're doing helping? You sound like a bunch of cackling, gossiping idiots. How is this gossiping? This little girl was murdered and dismembered by her father. Should we just forget about Harmony? Is that what we should do, J Cal?
I'm sorry, my laugh is a cackle. I can't help it. I'm 50 years old. I'm going to cackle. I earn the right.
J Cal doesn't know.
Me is that if Harmony at any point by DCF, law enforcement, anybody had pulled her aside away from Adam and Kayla and said to her, "You are safe now. Is something going on?" It would have been like word vomit. She would have told them everything because she would have knew in her head, I'm gonna be safe now. She was smart. And that's why Adam made sure she never spoke to anyone without him in the room. And it sickens me. No one ever did that. They never pulled her aside. She was 5. She was old enough to talk for herself.
And at the time this is happening, like you said, you had to choose between 2 courtrooms for 2 different children. And in the other courtroom, you're helping your son be in a great home, right? That's not easy, right? That's not easy for a parent to say, "Wow, I know that I'm."
She didn't have to choose between courtrooms. She had no rights to Harmony. She lost that in 2018. And
Jameson was going if she didn't show up. I mean, that adoption was going to go through. It didn't matter if she showed up or not. If she showed up to probably try to fight it. I don't know. I don't understand why she showed up.
I have doubts that she even went to Boston. How far is
Right?
Lowell to Boston? She said she couldn't get up to Manchester. J. Cal said trashing other people to make oneself feel better is a strange yet transparent phenomenon. We will always call out people that abuse children. But I can give you some examples of some channels that you might feel comfortable in. They actually support child abusers. I think you ought to check that out. Go ahead, Slim.
Yeah, I think J. Cal ought to go check out somewhere else. That's really offensive. I'm not trashing her. I'm telling you the truth about her character. I'm telling you what I see in her and what I feel out of her and what my God-given discernment lets me know about her. You don't like it? Bye.
J. Cal is Crystal.
Oh, well, there you go, Crystal. I'm so sorry for you. I had a mother like you, and I'm so glad I don't any longer. Jesus saved me from people like you.
Yeah, this person floats around in other chats where you talk about Crystal.
Whatever.
J. Cal, take the link. But I'm no Vinny. I'm not going to sit here and let you word vomit me. I'm not going to give you some ranch with your word salad because I read the probable cause. I read the governor's report, and I know you're a purity fucking liar.
And you ain't went through your 12 steps. You ain't accepting responsibility in any of this shit.
Mm-hmm. answer some real questions.
What step are you on?
Come on, girlfriend. I don't bite.
I'll be quiet. I'll drop off the panel and just go to the chat.
Slim's in a good mood today.
I'm on my 4th beer. Come on.
Yeah, I've been hearing her cracking them.
I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you want the Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand?
I wondered if we should mute when I do that.
Jazzy Jules said Lowell to Boston is 46 minutes away. So she could make it there for Jameson's adoption proceeding, which she is not part of, by the way, because she'd already screwed all that up. But she couldn't make it to Harmony up in Manchester, which is 20 minutes away, to go knock on the door and check on her daughter. How many lies can we find? J. Cal, how many can we find? I feel bad.
That's all we're doing here is we are picking out your clear and total lies. You've went and you've told the public things that maybe you shouldn't have told them. And you continue to do it. And I can't believe Vinny gave you a platform. Vinny is terrible for this.
I mean, we do admire the spray tan, and he's got some great Botox going on. I believe there's some fillers in his chin. Other than that, I'm not happy with him today. Crystal,
the tie matches the eyes. I mean, he looks good. He's got it going on.
I mean, we're talking about real evidence that don't back up your lies, J. Cal. So come on up, Crystal.
Hey, J. Cal, I'll give you a positive. Your eyebrows look a lot better today than what they did the last time I seen you on TV. Yep. They really do. I'm hands down. Whatever you're doing there, keep doing it. You got it right this time.
Struggling right now, but my son, we've got an amazing place for him to be. And if I go to this courtroom, I know he's going to be okay. And you did that.
I thought they would give me a chance to go to that court date, you know, like give me a week, you know, just to make it to that court date for Harmony, you know, because I had made it to every single court date, every visit, every class they made me do. I did everything they asked, and they couldn't even give me a continuance.
Yeah, to me that's inexcusable when you're making a decision about a small child and you are deciding to give that child to a career criminal who has his own substance abuse issues, and you haven't done any sort of background look at what's going on in his life and can he actually take care of the child. That's problematic when you don't have the one person in the courtroom who knows everything and can call into question the decisions. So that decision is made. And I want to go through a little bit of a timeline for the folks at home and then have you kind of fill in the blanks for us. So February 2019 is when he's granted custody. April of 2019, my understanding, and you can correct us after we go through all this, is the last communication FaceTime between you and Harmony. Then in December of 2019, this is the allegation of when Harmony is murdered by Adam. Flash forward to November of 2021, you call the Manchester police.
J. Cal said the courts failed. Yes, they did. Why don't you take some accountability? Because you failed. You tangled him. You screwed him like a snake in heat, had a baby, and you put her in foster care.
You do understand that we're adults here, and we understand. We have the intelligence to know the courts wouldn't have had to have failed if you hadn't failed first.
The minute the government comes in your house, you have failed. You got it?
You did it. You did it. And you have so many resources right there. You're probably still partaking in them, getting your free rides. Come on. What step are you on? I can see chat now. Put it in there. Tell me what step you're on, because I don't even know if you're on one. Have you even taken a step yet?
Well, we know she can't tell the truth. Unsolved Crimes Uncovered said, I think Crystal has been through a lot. That's for sure. She was an addict. That's for sure. She lost her children. That's for sure. The court wouldn't change Harmony's custody hearing. She wasn't a part of that because she'd already lost custody. She had no dog in that fight. Adam wouldn't let Crystal see her. She could have drove up there and knocked on the door and had a deputy with her. There are things we don't know. We know enough from the probable cause and the governor's report to know that she has lied over and over.
Let me ask you, did Crystal ever retain an attorney to be able to secure her visitation rights with Harmony? Because she would have had to pay that out of her pocket when she lost custody. Even to Adam, she still would have had to retain an attorney, pay it out of her pocket to at least minimum see her daughter. Did she ever do that?
The answer is no.
Thank you.
All right, here we go.
To report Harmony missing. Then in December, the Manchester police begin looking for Adam to try to locate Harmony. And then 2 days later, you write to the mayor, desperate, requesting help here. So I guess the biggest question most people have is between April of 2019 and when you start making a lot of noise in November of 2021, what's going on? What do you know what is happening in your life, and what is happening?
I was actually kind of going through a hard time myself. I was in the shelter, pregnant with my son. Just trying to make a way for myself, really. But I had no contact, like I said before, he had cut me off everything, even if I would make a fake page or a new page and message them, it was automatic read and blocked. And, so I just started doing my own digging, asking around, driving around, like little things I could possibly do. If I was in Manchester, I would just drive around and to parks I just remember at the visits I had for him, he would always have me meet him at the Dunkin' Donuts on 2nd Street. But I didn't know anything other than that because he was, at the time when I was seeing her, a lot of people don't know, but I was tiptoeing around this man. Any little thing he told me I could or couldn't do, I did because I knew he would make me never see her again. I knew it. He finally had the control he wanted and he was going to use it. So until I finally couldn't deal with it, we had the agreement that I was starting a job and I needed to FaceTime for that week until I got my schedule and I knew when I was going to be able to have my visits with her. We agreed. Right away, the FaceTimes were chaotic, just very chaotic. There was he's muting it, pausing it, shutting the camera off, and just every single time she just looks terrified. And he's, I'm asking questions, he's yelling at me saying I can't ask her that, or she's not going to answer that, or, I knew in my gut, man, it was all wrong. He was acting erratic. I knew he was getting high. And there was just nothing I could do. I was being told by this DCF worker that I was a bitter baby mother and I was mad because he had moved on. Not because he was acting crazy or she, hadn't gone to school, hadn't seen a doctor, his own family was making reports as well alongside me, giving me all this information about what he's doing there. And nothing's happening. And it started even back then. Like the report started back then when I was still having phone calls. Nothing happened. Nothing. And everybody knew he was getting high, including his family. Nobody did a thing. And it's like there were people there. Like there was only so much I could literally do, and I did everything I could. But I had to survive myself. I didn't live in Manchester. I didn't live in New Hampshire. I lived in
everything
Boston.
she did? Could she name me everything she did? She can't. She just keeps saying I did everything I could, but she never names one flippin' thing she did.
No, and look at her face. I mean, besides, I mean, her flapping her man pleaser, I mean, the way her eyes go to the side, the behavioral panel would call that deception. And I did everything I could. I didn't live in Manchester. Well, guess what? I don't live in Pryor, Oklahoma. But if my kids need help there, I'm going to get there.
Right? I don't live in Ohio any longer. You think if my 3 grandchildren or my son or my parents or my husband's parents or our family up there needed help, we wouldn't be there? You know, we know how to get there. We know how to take 75 north. I just don't understand. I don't understand this lady whatsoever. And she starts to break down. And it's only because she's feeling guilty over her, I done everything I can. I done everything I can. What is it? Sorry.
I'm so sick of the excuses, especially the geography. The Northeast, you can, I mean, there's not, I mean, it's pretty easy to get from place to place.
Oh, good God, it is. Yeah, you're going to be in some traffic jams, but whatever. You're riding a fucking bus. Sorry. I knew that was going to slip out.
She goes, I didn't live in Manchester. Well, okay, but it's 20 minutes away. We're not saying that Adam took her to Africa and you couldn't get and go do a safari to find her. She was 20 minutes away from you. You knew because you
now you got to go look in the Great Pond for her. Apparently, are you going to do that, Crystal? Can you at least try to do that?
Yeah.
Put a search team out there for her. Now that you know where he dumped her, because we're pretty sure we know where he dumped her.
Yeah, and on top of that, her and Adam are in the same circle. The same circle.
Same friends.
Same friends, the whole 9 yards. She knows Kim Frayne.
Mm-hmm.
She knows all of these people, but she says, I did everything I could do.
Did she call Kim and say, hey, Kim, I'm afraid Harmony isn't eating. Can you go take her a plate of food out there to the car in the parking lot?
Did she track him down?
I'm just asking, you know, like I have questions for you, J. Cal. Why don't you focus your energy on finding out where your dead daughter is, or at least fighting for her? Sorry, I'm going to shut up for a little bit.
You're not doing anything wrong.
I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you want the Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand?
I want her to
you know what I mean? Like,
I want her to say
I
something
did what I
to
could
us.
with what I had. You know,
Yeah.
I really did.
All right, Crystal, it's going to be. We're going to take a short break, Crystal. Take a moment. Thanks again for joining us. Crystal's going to stay with us this hour. Coming up next hour, we've got big news in the Utah student case. All that coming up.
Broke down, known to be December 7th, 2019, as discussed in further detail below. Adam Montgomery struck Harmony, which caused her death. Kayla stated that while living in the vehicle together, Adam was extremely upset that 5-year-old Harmony was not saying when she needed to go to the bathroom and was having accidents in the car. Kayla stated that after each accident, Adam would get upset and would strike Harmony in the face and head with a closed fist. Kayla stated that on December 7th, 2019, prior to the vehicle breaking down, Adam struck Harmony in the face and head on 3 separate occasions because she had a bathroom accident. This happened while Adam was driving the vehicle. Kayla described that Harmony was in the rear seat on the passenger side, and while Adam was driving, he turned his body and delivered sets of 3 to 4 blows with a closed fist to Harmony's face and head on 3 separate occasions over the course of a few minutes. Kayla stated that after the final blow, Adam said words to the effect of that he felt something or heard something when he hit Harmony and, quote, I think I really hurt her this time. I think I did something. Harmony began making a moaning type noise, which went on for roughly 5 minutes and then stopped. At no time did anyone stop or get Harmony medical attention as the result of this assault. Kayla said this happened in the morning while the family was on their way to Burger King on Route 3 in Manchester, and afterwards the family returned to the parking lot of the Colonial Village apartments. The family stayed at Colonial Village for approximately 20 minutes, during which time no one checked on Harmony. Kayla could not recall exactly what they did during this 20-minute time period. Kayla said that after approximately
They were eating. They went to Burger King. They were drinking their orange juice. They were eating their ham and cheese croissant. And they knew that Harmony was back there moaning and dying, and they were eating. She couldn't remember if they
You
were.
reckon that's why she went quiet? Because it was an only 5-minute more trip to Burger King, and they went inside and left her out there?
Oh, I didn't think about that. They could have
I'm
left her.
sorry. I'm horrid. I think of the worst situations, but I swear that's why she went quiet in 5 minutes. It's just in my head.
Yeah, because 5 minutes seems a little too exact for me. But they can't remember what they did for 20 minutes, or step meth can't. But they went
They went to wash their asses, and the only place that was open at 6 in the morning, and that's Burger King bathroom.
That's exactly what they did. They took a whore's bath in the bathroom.
We've all been there. No shame in that. Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. So that's, you're looking at 25, probably 30 minutes, maybe even an hour, seriously.
Mm-hmm. She said she was moaning, and then they knew she was dead, but she can't remember this 20 minutes. No, this 20 minutes she can remember. This 20 minutes she can remember, and the reason she can remember it is because they were eating.
Yep.
Approximately 20 minutes, the family left the Colonial Village apartments, and shortly thereafter, their car broke down. Kayla said she thought the car died at approximately 8 or 9 a.m. According to the Manchester Police Department records, the car was broken down in the intersection of Elm Street and Webster Street at approximately 12:11 p.m. on December 7th, 2019. Kayla said it was at that time that she and Adam discovered that Harmony was not breathing and was deceased. Kayla stated that Adam went to the trunk of the vehicle, removed clothing from a black and red Under Armour duffel bag, and placed the lifeless body of Harmony into the bag. Kayla stated at no point did either of them have any conversation about getting any type of life-saving measures for Harmony, and that Adam simply put Harmony's dead body into the bag and walked it back to the parking lot of the Colonial Village apartments.
That's from the arrest affidavit, newly unsealed, with all the details on what prosecutors allege happened to Harmony Montgomery at the hands of her father. Crystal Sorey, Harmony's mom, is still with us tonight. Crystal, when you learned those details of what they say happened to Harmony, what went through your mind?
I just remember being in a meeting that morning, and I just kept saying, like, I knew he had murdered her for something small, something that she would really have no control over. So when they told me that, he had reached over and done what he had done because she had been having multiple accidents, I went up, like, I jumped up to kind of run out the room to get some air, and I fainted. It was like, it just blew me away, because she had a history of accidents when she was scared or really stressed out, and she didn't understand what was going on. She would have accidents because it was like her way of like letting you know, like, something's going on, I don't understand, and I need you to pay attention to me, so I know her history, so like when I heard those things, it was like, how could you fault her for that trauma, that trauma response? She was 5 years old, you were living in a car, it's not like there was an available bathroom, and it's not like she wasn't terrified of this man already. If this man was punching you in the face for every little thing, would you tell him you had to go to the bathroom? No, you wouldn't. So it was just, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. And I kept telling myself, and my family kept repeating, that anything that happened after she was with my mom and my brothers, it wasn't her. I try to tell myself that anything he did to her after, she was already at peace and she couldn't feel it. That's the only thing that gives me a tiny shred of peace.
Why do you think he even wanted her or fought for her or asked the judge for custody of her? It just seems so obvious that it wasn't about love.
She was a meal ticket. He did it because he thought, oh, she's blind, I'm gonna get a good amount of Social Security for her. Also, to hurt me. He told me, he said, if I ever get her, you're never gonna see her again. And I told DCF this. I told them, I said, that would be the biggest mistake you ever make, because he hated women. He hated women. He hated his mother. His mother abandoned him. Like, he had terrible history with women. He's a woman beater.
Well, it doesn't matter what you tell social workers, they don't get into the middle of family matters, believe it or not, even though they're social workers. But this Social Security check, I would think, would be good incentive for Crystal to keep Harmony. But she still went about her merry way.
Yeah, I don't know if I highly doubt Harmony had a Social Security check. We're not hearing about that. We're hearing about welfare fraud. We're not hearing about Social Security fraud being a part of this. This whole she's blind in that eye. I don't believe it. I really don't. There's no proof of Social Security going for that little girl. It's all welfare. And that state and Social Security is federal, right? Even for independents, dependents, for little kids, isn't that still federal?
I really don't know much about that. I think actually, yes, Social Security would be federal, but everything she says, it just does not add up.
Not at all.
Like, I knew that. He used to put his hands on me. Like, I didn't want him to have any type of control over his daughter. I knew. I just knew, But I didn't, like, when I was looking for her and I was on the news and I was saying all these possibilities, I just didn't want to believe the worst. You don't want to believe that somebody could look in a child's eyes that didn't choose to be here and do such a thing. He named her. He chose Harmony, her name. I was going to name her Melody. You know, and those are the things that I have to live with, that I have to think about, you know. People don't understand that, you know. I've been put through hell throughout this entire investigation. I've been blamed, bashed. I had people in my inbox telling me I should end my life. I should be sterilized. I should never have children. And I did nothing but everything in my power to get people to listen to me. And it was too late.
Crystal,
Hey, Brooks, can I
tell
interrupt
us
for a minute?
Yes, please, because I was getting ready to pause it.
Cool. I know a lady in my past who had 9 crack babies, and she was ordered to be sterilized. I know this woman personally, and a human women's rights group stepped in, and she ended up having 3 more crack babies after that before she finally went sterile from her own drug use. So 13 crack babies. All right. So it is so hard to sterilize a woman. You got these human rights groups out there that say, well, she might get clean someday, but nobody makes sure they take birth control. So, you know, yeah, I agree. She should be sterile. Should she kill herself? No. I want her to live every breath on this earth reminded how she failed Harmony. I want her here.
Well, and
I want her ass kicked while she's here, but I want her here.
But her pity party is pissing me off. I have to
Right?
live with this every day. Look at what Harmony had to live with.
And what did you do? What about the other kids in that home? What did you do? Yeah, you knew he was an abuser. He's got Kayla. He's got his other side piece that's passed away now.
Mm-hmm.
How many other people? Kim? You know Kim was a side piece. There's no way she wasn't.
Oh, I guarantee Kim Frame was.
I'm gossiping now. I'm just down and dirty in it. You want me to roll with you? I'm going to roll in your nasty crap. I'm going to call you out for it. Buttholes.
a little bit more about Adam. You know him better than any of us. And to try to understand who he really is. You mentioned that he had put hands on you as well. Like how consistent was the violence that you witnessed, and what would happen just before he would get that way?
He gets set off very easily. He's a narcissist, so he's the type of person that looks for things. Like he'll look for things. Like he'll read a text and misinterpret it and think you're trying to be shady, or he'll ask around, be like, oh, when I was at work at X amount of time, what was my girl doing, da da da. And if they said like, oh, I don't know, she went to the store at one point, like, oh, she left and she was cheating, like he was really controlling and really like just toxic. It was just very toxic. And obviously, like when you're using, like we used together, like that was our entire relationship. We used, like I was high, I didn't care what he was doing, you know. But then when I got pregnant with Harmony, I didn't want that anymore. And when I was pregnant with Harmony, he had tried to murder somebody. He shot this man in the face over some drugs. And when he went to jail, I was like, hallelujah, you know, like I went to a program and I wrote him a letter, and I didn't want to be with him anymore. I just said, listen, I saw the true you, and you know, he was putting his hands on me while I was pregnant. There was just, he cared more about drugs, and I believed, I went to the program, he went to jail while I was pregnant. It wasn't meant to be. Like, I was a strong believer then that everything happened for a reason. He was just, even when he was in jail, he was in jail a lot of our relationship. I want that to be put out there as well. when I met him, he was on the run from violation of probation, like some prior things he had done. Probably robberies, something, I don't know. But he was in and out of programs. He would get in the program, the judge would put him in a program, and then he would get a good month or two, get them to trust him, and then he would run from the program.
And
it was just a vicious cycle. He just did it every time. He would be like, I'm an addict, judge, and they'd put him in jail, and then he'd go to a program.
I was a prosecutor. I've seen those guys. I have seen those guys.
Yeah.
Same routine
Yeah,
over and over. And you find these gullible judges. And then a judge who would give custody of a child to someone like that. Unreal. All right, Crystal, stay there.
I don't know how they didn't cross.
Yeah. Like,
you know, those two.
It's very simple to do if you ask a couple questions
Yes.
or get a little bit of information before making such an important decision for a child. It's always supposed to be what's in the best interest of the.
She has every right to judge here because paths crossed for her in CPS and Harmony's custodialship, but it didn't with Adam, right? Paths crossed that lost her shit, but it didn't his. You know, she's just jealous, seriously. And if you watch the way she says, Harmony never called Adam dad, right? Did she ever call you mom?
I doubt
she
it.
Didn't.
I doubt it. But she's got all the excuses in the world, and
all of them.
And if you know the key to the kingdom was him going to jail, and she said, "Thank God," then why didn't she clean it up? How did she lose custody in 2018 and he was deemed the better parent because she obviously wasn't in recovery. She was still actively using. They could not put Harmony with her.
Well, obviously she wasn't with Adam when she got pregnant with Jameson's baby's daddy, whatever, father, daddy, whatever, Jameson's daddy. So like you were away, you got away. What happened?
He went to jail. That's when you should have, and she knows the system. That's when she should have cleaned herself up, gotten a job, put Harmony in daycare, not run to the next teardrop, which is what she did.
You see how young these ladies are too? They could still go to college and all of it could be paid for and all of their tuition would be paid for and their housing would be paid for. And some colleges would even put up their kids to live in the dorm with them. Miami of Ohio does that. I'm sure there's others.
She actually went to Florida to a rehab. So
I'm seeing that.
Yeah, she went to Florida for a rehab. That was on her Facebook when she first started putting out all her lies back in December of 2021.
There's some actually really good rehabs down here, but I would use Bible-based ones, you know, that are not for profit. They seem to get some stuff done, but you know, you got so much money and taxpayer money thrown at you to better yourself, to encourage yourself, and you didn't do it. You never did it. You didn't care to do it. You went and laid with another meth head, got pregnant with Jameson, moved on from that, got pregnant again, and maybe pregnant again. She's no better than step meth.
No, but she's got all kinds of judgment for step meth, which I don't blame her for that. I agree 100% with Vinny. You have these people that go in front of these judges. We have too many weak judges in this country.
You know why she can judge step meth? Because she's looking in the mirror at herself.
There you go. There you go.
The child, not what dad wants, not what mom wants. Best interest of the child always should drive everything.
Always.
Crystal, stay where you are. When we come back, I want to ask you about Kayla Montgomery, because she is going to be the most important witness, but she was in the middle of all of this as well. When we come back, we'll talk about it.
I was working up until November 2019 at Dunkin' Donuts. I would work 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Adam would be home with the kids while I'm at work. And he would drop me off and pick me up from work because I didn't have a license. And then after he would pick me up, I would be at the house with the kids, and he would leave some nights because we were using drugs.
Yeah, they're using a lot of drugs. And that is the home that Harmony was in. Let's bring back in Harmony's mom, Crystal Sorey, who is joining us tonight. What are your thoughts about Kayla Montgomery? On the one hand, she's going to be the most important witness in the trial of Adam, but she's in the middle of all of this. She's in the middle of all of it and claims to not know where Harmony's remains are. What do you think?
I had a lot of trouble with her throughout this case, because I'm a human. Like, I'm a victim of domestic violence, especially, by him. So I know what she was going through with him. I know, it still is not even a crumb of an excuse. Because if it had to be between me and a child, doesn't matter if it's a stranger, a stepchild, my boyfriend's child, my girlfriend's child, I don't care. If it had to be between me and a child, I'm going to choose me.
Choose me.
Holy hell!
There we go. Bomb drop.
Now, I would be asking old Vinny to edit that out and be like, I misspoke. Listen to this again.
Even a crumb of an excuse. Because if it had to be between me and a child, doesn't matter if it's a stranger, a stepchild, my boyfriend's child, my girlfriend's child, I don't care. If it had to be between me and a child, I'm going to choose me. So the fact that she didn't lift a finger to get her help, she did nothing, and then decided to just, well, not only that, but, she laid down and got pregnant by him while my daughter was somewhere stashed in this house. That's a little part that everyone else seems to miss, is that she did have a third child a month before they got arrested in 2021. She had a daughter. Go figure, right? And so it's like, I think about all of those pieces. Like, the only people that really think about though everything is me and my family. A lot of people see what they see on social media or the TV or whatever, but like, I know these details, so that right there is just disgustingly sick. Like, you watched him murder a child and then you laid down with him and had another baby. And then, the piece of, her baby.
Do you think she felt so guilty for letting that bomb drop about, I'm choosing myself over a child, that she went on to judge Kayla even harder here and more nasty? She started talking about Kayla laying down with Adam, putting in the thought that Harmony's up in the ceiling and right on over top of their bed. You know what I mean? Do you think she's making up for and hoping that we don't pay attention to that snippet?
Well, I mean, that Freudian slip cannot, you can't unring a bell. She can't say, oh, I mean, I would rather have me killed than the child.
I mean, like, she don't understand what replay queen is, and Brooks is the number one of it.
I mean, the depravity, the absolute disgust I feel right now.
I don't think I could think of what they were doing in that house while my child is melting in the ceiling and the floor and in the bathroom and shower and whatever else in the freezer and all over the place. Like, I really don't think my mind would go to, and I'm pretty sick in the head. Why is she going there and thinking about it? Is she jealous?
I think there's a lot of jealousy going on. I think there was when he got out of jail and he got Harmony and he got the house and he got with step meth, she thought that could be me.
Yeah.
Basically doing no time.
Yeah.
After she helped. No matter any way people want to put it, she helped. She helped conceal her body. She did nothing to lift a finger. She helped kill her, you know? So it's very hard for me to not have very serious anger towards her. And I wish the worst for her. I hope she never gets to be around another child again. You know what I mean? She doesn't deserve to be near her child. I never get to hold my baby again. So she should never get to lay eyes on hers again. You know, they're better off without her. 110%. Those boys are better off without her. And you know, the fact too that, you know, the boys, they were there. They were right in that back seat with Harmony. You know, it's like, what? You know, you know, and then she just sits up there and she knows that like her life is over, you know what I mean? But I have a small, like, I kind of believe that she doesn't know where my daughter is only because I know Adam. And, you know, he would say, I'm not going to take you to do this last thing in case you rat on me. I know he would say some
It does make sense.
Some weird.
It makes weird
You know what I
sense
mean?
from a man like that.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Crystal, really appreciate you coming on tonight. I know Harmony was looking down, proud of you telling her story tonight that we have not heard.
Harmony is not proud of her mother. And her saying, I know Adam so well. How can you be high as a kite all the time, yet you know him so well? Her own words, all we did was use together. You don't know a real person when you are inebriated.
Yeah, what was she saying? I would get high and I didn't care what he went and did.
Exactly what she said.
And that's exactly Kayla. I'd get high and I didn't care what he went and did.
And that's all Teardrop does. He gets these women and he keeps them high and they start having babies. And how these women can have babies like that. You have women who are perfectly healthy. I mean, talking an apple and an orange a day women. And they struggle to have a child. And here they are. I mean, my God, anything they can put in their body. I mean, heat treatment, battery acid, doesn't matter. And
Drano, let me inject myself with some diesel. I don't know, maybe we got it wrong. Maybe when we can't get pregnant, we ought to inject ourselves with that shit. I don't know. Isn't that a deep thought? Let me start doing meth so I can get pregnant. Sorry.
Well, they say when you're relaxed, you're not thinking.
Well,
you know, people that stress about things.
Well, they say when you have sex upside down, it kind of takes. So maybe that's what you do when you're on meth. I don't know. I've never been on it.
Nope, never even thought about anything like that. This is an absolutely insane interview, and I cannot stand the me. I did everything I could. Let me tell you, I've read the governor's report. I've read the probable cause. No, she didn't. Now, I don't expect her to get on Court TV and tell Vinny, I'm a piece of shit and didn't do anything for my daughter. Just speak about what you can. We would have more respect.
I don't know, like if I was in her shoes, I would just say it. I'm a piece of shit, and I screwed up. I really, sorry, fucked up, and I want to make it better. And then I drop off, and you would see my trail of better, because I'm not about talking my walk. I'm about walking my talk. If I'm telling you I'm going to be better, I'm going to be better, and I'm going to show you. And she hasn't even done that yet. We hear a baby crying, and she's non-responsive to it.
I just cannot believe that even after such a violent death and what transpired after, Harmony is still being disrespected. I don't get it.
I don't either. Like, why do you want to do that? Are you going to start another GoFundMe, Crystal? I
Uncle
mean,
Kevin did, and now she wants to sue DCYF. They have a governor's report that shows she has lied. She even said, "Big bucks deluxe. We'll never have to worry about anything." She doesn't.
How much money did Vinny pay her for that interview?
Oh, I don't know. Does Court TV pay for interviews?
I don't know either. I'm just wondering. I'm throwing that out there. I'm not saying they did. I just was throwing a question out there.
I'm going to find out.
A lot of people pay for interviews. Did Vinny pay? How do we find out? Do I Google it?
We might just call up Court TV. Let's take a second to show some respect to Harmony.
She's just the most beautiful baby ever.
Is she not? And you can just tell she's a little spitfire. And I believe she was very smart. I do believe Crystal about that. She had to be smart because she had to learn at such a young age how to manipulate, and I shouldn't use that word, how to adjust to chaos, confusion in different situations. She had to learn to survive. And when Crystal says, I was her favorite person was the person that didn't beat her that day.
I think about a lot of kids that are abused, and they climb the walls and they're off the chart, and they're very uncontrollable. Most of them go on some type of Ritalin or that type of, drug to keep them sedated. She was very smart. She didn't need all that. She handled really tough situations very well, very well. She didn't climb the walls. She didn't act out. She wasn't a screaming, crying pain. You ever been around those kids that you're just like, oh my God, why don't the parents get control of them? A lot of abused kids are those kids. They really are. And they're acting out to seek the right attention because the attention they're getting is wrong. So, her beautiful heart is just a beautiful world that she wanted to live in.
And she never had a chance. Born to drug-addicted parents, father goes to jail, she goes to foster care. She gets out of foster care. Her mother has another child. They go to foster care together. She's taking care of her brother. I mean, her dad gets out of jail. I shouldn't say dad. You know who I'm talking about. Teardrop gets out of jail, reunifies with her. She dies a violent death. She's
introduced. She's introduced when her dad gets out of jail to two more brothers that she probably never even knew she had.
I mean, I
Right?
just couldn't even imagine. And she always
Kayla had two boys by the time Harmony got with Adam, right? Maybe one.
One and then another, because the daughter was born after Harmony was murdered.
Right.
It's just absolutely horrific. Always has a smile on her face. And I do agree with Vinny about that when he did his other segment on Harmony. He said, what could she be smiling about? Nobody even missed her.
Nobody asked about her. Not a teacher, not a principal, not a daycare worker. And I'm sorry, but how about the foster parents? Like, can you cut them out just like that? And that I don't think the courts would cut them out just like that.
No, they do. They do. Once their job is done, it's done. Once they're with the parents, that's it.
Oh, how horrible. Why would you want to be foster parents when you're treated that way?
It's horrible. It's horrible the way they're treated. Like Oakley Carlson went through that. The foster parents would have done anything to adopt Oakley Carlson. And she went back to her parents. And of course, she's gone. Not a grandparent, not anybody. So from December of 2019 to December of 2021, not one person asked where she was.
Parental alienation's a real thing, but foster parental alienation doesn't get the recognition that it should or the thought process to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean?
No, you're right.
These foster parents are their parents, and you're alienating them either way. And it's against the law if it's biological, but when it's court placed, well, that's just the shit you get. Sorry. I'm a little soapboxy.
No, I am too, because this case just makes me so mad, because anyone that comes out of the shadows failed her. Even if it was their job to protect her. But I want to thank Slim for coming up today. It was a big treat. You are welcome to come up anytime, my friend. It is long overdue. How long have you been around the channel, by the way?
I think when Summer Wells went missing is when I first started watching you guys. I was out on the trail hiking, and you and Kevin were together chasing squirrels.
So about 2 years ago. That's what I thought.
And I called in back then because Summer Wells is a big deal to me too, and her lifestyle and stuff.
Well, I'm going to be doing a members live for Summer, I think on Thursday.
That's pretty cool. We need one. Yeah. All this cotton bull crap is let's blame a dead man is disgusting, you know.
Well, and that's what I'm going to go through on the show, because I have a feeling I know how it happened. Let's give a huge round of applause to our friend Slim.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you, Brooks. You do a great show every day. I'm going to drop down now. Have a good evening.
Thank you, my friend, for being here. And everybody, thank you so much for being here for Harmony. Thank you so much, because she deserves it. Everybody failed her. And I mean everybody failed her. One after another, after another, after another. All she wanted was love, attention, food, to be read to before she went to sleep. Not what she was given. I will see you guys back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central. Welcome, new members. Welcome. You're going to like it here. Stick around because I'm telling you some right now. These are some of the coolest people you have ever met in your life. I'm telling you. You don't ever want to miss a show because this is the funkiest bunch you've ever been around. I appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you over in Discord or I'll see you in the Facebook groups. Enjoy the rest of your day.